always incredible to be here at the center and to be able to actually have the opportunity for us to share our thoughts on a variety of different things that may be going on in our lives. It's just a remarkable thing that I feel like we don't get a lot to be able to do that. And so today I was guided to talk about appreciation. It is so amazing of how the Spirit continues to come to you when you least expect it. Just out of the blue, no matter what you're doing, then suddenly it's just like, oh yeah, appreciation. I'm like, okay, there must be something going on in my life that I have not been appreciating. So that's why the Spirit was, in my mind, speaking very loudly to me. And you know, the thing that I realize and that I recognize is each and every one of us appears to be having busy lives. That we feel like we have a lot going on, but we never take the time, and at least I know for me, is to really appreciate what's really going on. To appreciate ourselves, to appreciate this world that we actually are in, because we often, and I know this is definitely true for me, is busy. We're busy in our minds, we're busy in this world that we actually are in. Now just imagine if we allow ourselves to take the time and slow down a little bit and realize how much we actually will accomplish in this world that we actually are in. And that's something that I'm slowly starting to learn and starting to figure out, is to take the time, figure a way out to close the shatters that continue to happen in my mind. And a lot of times those shatters are things that are negative and not things that are actually things that I should appreciate. Because one of the things I've learned is I've done a lot of things good in my life, but yet I don't appreciate that. What I do is I stay stuck and focus on things that I feel like that I have not done in life. And I think that's something that all of us tend to do. And but now if we can figure out how to change that, what beauty that would bring to ourselves. The Course tells us this: the ego therefore opposes all appreciation, all recognition, all sane perception, and all knowledge. It perceives their threat as total because it senses the fact that all commitments the mind makes are total. The ego does not like appreciation. The ego does not want us to be in that state of mind. And at times, we allow ourselves to be in that state of mind. But the thing is, we are able to shift and change that and start seeing things from a more spiritual perspective and a more loving mind. And this, you know, reminds me, as a lot of you are aware, I got into a new position finally, but before that happened, it was a reminder for me of how much I allowed my ego thoughts to let me be stuck in the past, to let me be stuck in a sense of anger and resentment towards my job because I felt that I was treated unfairly compared to other people in my office who got their classifications before I did. I stayed stuck in that to the point where when I got this new position, I did not allow myself to embrace it and to appreciate what I have achieved. Because I was so bitter of what I felt that I didn't get at that time. I didn't recognize that things does happen for a reason. And to understand that maybe at that time, it was not meant for me to be reclassified. Maybe because I was not completely ready yet. Maybe it's because it was not the right position for me at that time. Those are the things that I have to remember maybe that was going on. when I allow myself to take the time and to let go of the past, let go of my anger and resentments that I was having towards my job, I've been able to start appreciating this position I'm in. And the truth of the matter is, I have the opportunity to work with a community that is so important to me, my African American community. And the great thing is, for the first time, it is not about working with just African American gay men. It's working with all African Americans here in San Francisco. To be able to have that opportunity to share, to be present for a community that I know that has been going through a lot, especially in the health field, where we recognize that there's such huge amount of disparities. And to be able to be there and to help them through whatever work that they're doing, to help them appreciate everything that they do. It is a lot of work, but they're showing up for the community, and I get to show up for them. That is what I have to appreciate and to remember, and not focus on the past, not allow my ego to go into overdrive to the point where at one point I found myself fighting, because one of the things that happened was, because of the new position, I had to move to a different floor. And I've been in that same floor with those individuals for so long that I didn't want to leave it. That's where I wanted to stay. I found every potential reason possible or not to leave. And then realized, no, I built a relationship that I was supposed to with them, and now it's an opportunity for me to build a relationship with the new people on a different floor. And that is okay. It took a while to get to that point, but I realized that's where I'm supposed to be. Forced, therefore, to detach itself from you who are mine, it is willing to attach itself to anything. I so detached myself during that time period. But now I recognize and I understand that each and everything that we do, it's an opportunity for us to appreciate it. It was an opportunity for me to appreciate the position I'm in, but more importantly right now, it's an opportunity for me to appreciate this world that we are in. It may appear that we are in a state of divisiveness because of everything that's been going on. But having took a time to think about, that's their role, this is our role, and the whole idea is for us to appreciate it. We don't always have to agree with everything that people say or believe in. But what we should be able to do is to appreciate it and to come from a more loving place and a more healing place. That's what I think our purpose is and what we're supposed to do, to appreciate that and not appreciate the divisiveness or appreciate what they're saying because it's hurting us, because this doesn't feel right. No, we appreciate because they're coming from their voice, we're coming from our voice, and it was manifested for a reason, and the reason is for us to start healing. Healing those divisiveness, healing those appear separateness that exists in this world. The Holy Spirit does not want you to understand conflict. He wants you to realize that because conflict is meaningless, it cannot be understood. This is such a powerful statement for me, because conflict exists so much, at least in our minds. We think, we appear that conflict is happening. The thing is, though, when we are in that state, we are not coming from a good place. we are coming from a place of whether it's fear, whether it's a place of judgment, whether it's a place of guilt, whether it's a place of us having our own uncertainty about ourselves. That is the reason why we allow ourselves to get into conflict. But when we recognize and realize that it is meaningless, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. And the thing is, when we are allowed to do that, then we are allowed to take the time to close our mind, slow it down, and to actually appreciate what that means for us. To appreciate the importance of taking that conflict and changing it. Seeing it differently. Seeing it from a more loving and healing place. This reminds me of so many different things that has happened in my life regarding conflict. And one of those conflicts was just actually recently with our own Reverend Peter. It wasn't a bad conflict, but it wasn't a bad conflict. Don't worry about that. But it was a little.
I can't believe you two conflicted.
But it was a little conflict. But the whole thing about the whole thing is that I was not listening. And when we don't listen, we really don't hear what the other person is saying. And what happened in this particular situation, as you guys know, both Reverend Peter and I play softball. And this year, Reverend Peter is actually my coach, which in itself brings a little my own ego conflict regarding that aspect of it, and me still being the manager. And so what happened in this particular incident, we were having a scrimmage game, and I wound up getting a double, which means I might up getting on second base for those who don't know baseball. And so then we're allowed to bring someone else in to run for you if you choose to. And so Reverend Peter chose to bring someone else to run in for me. Someone who was younger, who he appeared more faster than me. And so, of course, my ego did not like that. I did not like the fact that I was pulled out to have someone else run for me, because in my mind, I think that even though I'm still 47 years old, I can still run pretty well. So I did not like that idea. And a couple people made little comments, and then of course I direct a not so nice comment towards Reverend Peter for pulling me out regarding that. And also I realized, because it happened before, that he had took me out again for someone who appeared to be younger than me. But the thing is, then what happened was, then after the game ended, Reverend Peter went ahead and talked to the whole team, about what's been going on. And then after he did that, he was like, "Okay, Vincent, I'm going to talk to you." And so then I'm like, okay. So we went to the side and talked, and then he, voiced, what was coming up for him, and about how I tend to undermine or say some things, to him in front of everyone, and how that's disrespectful that it can be, and all that stuff. And so he was just coming from his truth at that time. But then, of course, me and my own, ego state, ego mind, I was not hearing him. I was not listening at all. I was more about me and how I was feeling, and how I had my own perception of how other people may have perceived me getting taken out, and how that looked for me. So we had a little heated, discussion right there between the two of us. But the thing that I realize now, and the thing that is important through all that, it was not just about not taking the time to listen, but it was also recognizing and appreciating the world that Peter was in, and not take that moment for me to allow myself to put him down for that. And that was, an important lesson, for me. Fortunately that we're both our course students, so we were able to come back and, work through that. But the thing is, I did not appreciate what he did. And the truth of the matter is, he was doing what was best for the team. and I was being selfish. It was all about me and not looking at the big picture. And that's what it is. So it's not just about us appreciating ourselves, but appreciating everyone. Appreciating what they are doing and what they are bringing. Because it brings us closer to each other when we're actually able to do that. Then the Course tells us this. We have already said that understanding brings appreciation, and appreciation brings love. Can you imagine how beautiful that really is? To be able to recognize when we appreciate, we're actually bringing love. That's what appreciation is about. That is a remarkable thing for me to recognize. And so then I realized when I finally appreciated Reverend Peter, I was bringing love. And so that was wonderful. And I have to, recognize that Reverend Peter also acknowledged his part in it as well. So it wasn't, so we both had the opportunity to be able to do that. But it is about bringing love when we allow ourselves to appreciate ourselves, appreciate this world we are in, and just taking the time to just really recognize that when we're doing that, we're not only bringing love, but we're actually connecting to each other as one. And that's the beautiful thing regarding that aspect of it. And this also reminded me of me appreciating my family. A couple of weeks ago, my niece unfortunately lost her baby. She had complications during her pregnancy, so they had to do an early induce so the baby to come out. And so the baby, survived for a few hours and then eventually, left this world. But how my niece and how my family came together and support each other, just incredible. Through this time, and just the love that just exists and the support, absolutely remarkable. And it just reminded me of no matter what challenges we have, no matter what happens, we can always still find a light. And finding that light is a remarkable thing, and it's absolutely incredible. This light will shine back upon you and on the whole sonship, because this is your proper gift to God. We have the light. We can shine as often as we want when we allow ourselves to. And this was really important for me also this week, because I also had another tough week where a good friend of mine attempted to take their life. And just taking a moment to realize that it is time for me to appreciate every person in my life and not take it for granted. Because we never know what's going on with someone. We never know what is happening. Because we become so busy, so occupied by every other thing in life. And in reality, it doesn't matter. The only thing that really matters is the connection and the relationships that we have. And to be able to appreciate that in a way that we never have before. I am grateful that this good friend of mine is right now in a process of healing themselves. But I could just only imagine what they were going through to get to that point. And just imagine for me to just take the time and allow myself to be there, to be present, and to appreciate everything and every aspect of our lives. I appreciate the fact that I have the opportunity to be among incredible spiritual people in this room right now. I am appreciative of the incredible support that I get from my friends. I appreciate the fact that I have such an incredible, loving family that's always there for each other. More importantly, I appreciate the fact that each and every one of us has the time and the energy to be present with one another, no matter what's going on in this world. I appreciate everything, and I love you all. And that's my